So we have another pay-per-view to go over. We are going to make some predictions. We got WWE's Survivor Series War Games coming up this Saturday night. It is WWE's annual PLE. And I will say this. If WWE, I understand that it's War Games. And they're transitioning into them having the War Games matches as their traditional Survivor Series matches. But I will say this. To make it kind of nostalgic, I kind of want to see them put one more match on this card, and that would be a traditional Survivor Series match. Just to kind of keep this nostalgia a little bit. I understand we're getting 2 War Games matches. We're getting a men's. We're getting a women's. But honestly, I don't think it would hurt anything to put a traditional Survivor Series match on this card just to live by the name Survivor Series. And then you're adding in the War Games with the War Game matches. But if we don't get it, again, I won't be upset. Because that's exactly what War Games is going to be, but it's amped up because it's inside a cage. And we're getting it done in a completely different way. But with that being said, the first match we are going to go over, Carlito and Santos Escobar. Now, we know how this storyline all plays out. We've seen the last PLE, Crown Jewel, and how this all started. Santos Escobar left the brass knuckles on the ring apron. Logan Paul took him, hit Rey Mysterio with them, won the United States title. And then the next week on SmackDown is when everything started. Carlito came out, pretty much snitched on Santos, and Santos ended up turning on the LWO. So now, this past week, Santos, made some remarks after Rey Mysterio ended up with a hurt leg. Pretty much said he hoped Rey Mysterio loses his leg. Those were the remarks. He hopes Rey Mysterio gets his leg amputated. Yeah. But we're getting the match between Carlito and Santos Escobar. So, Cam, your thoughts on this match? Who do you got?
I got Santos. Obviously, I don't think they're going to have him lose. Fresh off of his heel turn. Now, without the injury to Rey Mysterio, this obviously would have been Rey Mysterio versus Santos Escobar. So they're kind of just having to piece together something really quick with Rey or with Santos and Carlito. I will say this about Rey Mysterio too, because I read a report today that said that he was working hurt for a while now before the surgery. So kudos to him, because like I said, if he was working through that and he was holding the championship, that's old school mentality from guys you would see from the 90s and the 2000s, because you don't really see that a lot now much anymore. If guys are hurt, they take time off, they have the surgeries, they do things like that. But back in the day, a lot of those guys, they were wrestling with nagging injuries,
Yeah.
and they had to go out there night after night, and that's an old school mentality right there. So kudos to Rey Mysterio for doing that. That's very I guess bold of him, essentially, not to make the injury even more serious. So hats off to Rey Mysterio, and I'm wishing him a speedy recovery. I do like Rey Mysterio. He is a legend in the game. But all in all, I'm taking Santos Escobar for the win.
Yeah, I'm definitely going Santos Escobar too. And they can benefit. Like I said a couple weeks ago, WWE is getting to the point like they're going back to the Attitude Era where everybody had a storyline, whether you were champion or you weren't a champion. Like everybody had a storyline, big, small, doesn't matter. This is one of those small storylines, and they can take advantage of Rey Mysterio being injured. Very simply, they are in a very good key part of their year. Carlito's facing him at Survivor Series. We can get Santos to go on this nice heel run to where it can build up. If Rey's injury isn't as severe to where he'll be back in 3 or 4 months, that will build us right to WrestleMania. And this could be a very big highlighted match between Santos and Rey at WrestleMania. And honestly, I would not disagree with that match being on that card, whether it's night 1 or night number 2, because I think it would fit anywhere on the WrestleMania card. I mean, minus it being in the main event. I don't see it being a main event, but anywhere on the card, whether it opens the night up or we get it in the middle of the show, would definitely be a good match for WrestleMania. But I'm also going with Santos in this match. I think he beats Carlito. I don't think Carlito ends up winning this match. And even though it's Carlito's, re-debuting to a PLE, I mean, I think that would be one reason why people would pick Carlito, because it is his first PLE singles match in over a decade, but the obvious choice would be Santos in this match and have him go on a hell of a heel run and build up to the Rey Mysterio match. Bottom line. We do have 2 championship matches on this card. The first one, the Women's World Championship, Rhea Ripley is taking on Zoe Starks. Now, Zoe Starks ended up winning a Battle Royal to get her number 1 contendership for the Women's World title. Now, back at Crown Jewel, there was a fatal 5-way match. We had Nia Jax, we had Zoe Stark, we had Rhea Ripley, we had Shayna Baszler, and who else did we have in that match? I forget who else we had in that match. But anyways, who was it? Yeah, no, at a Crown Jewel. Who was in that fatal 5-way for the
Rhea, Zoe, Nia,
Shayna, and there was a 5th person. Who the hell was the person?
Jeez, I can't remember.
I totally forget. But anyways, Zoe Stark is the number 1 contender. Now, I know back after the Crown Jewel pay-per-view and even before, people were saying like, "Oh, this is Rhea Ripley taking on Raquel." Okay, yeah. This is Rhea Ripley taking on all her competitors and her strongest opponents at once. But I'll say this: that was all at once. She can still have singles matches against these women leading up to whoever she's going to face at WrestleMania. Zoe Stark is a great start to this, defending the women's world title run, because she's had that championship since WrestleMania. With that being said, does Rhea Ripley still walk out as the women's world champion, or does Zoe Stark pull a surprise and end up walking out as champion?
No, I think Rhea Ripley retains this in this match. Again, like I said, I gave Zoe Stark her flowers in the fatal 5-way match at Crown Jewel. She was all over the place, and she definitely was out there to prove a point. I think that she is ready for the main event spot. So I am pleased with the fact that this is going to be a 1-on-1 match with her and Rhea Ripley. But yeah, I think Rhea Ripley walks out with the championship still intact. So yeah, because like I said, again, she's red hot right now still, and she's in the number 1 faction right now, or number 1, number 2 faction, I guess along with the Bloodline, and they still have all the gold/silver. So yeah, I think she walks out with the championship still intact.
Yeah, I'm also going with Rhea Ripley as well. I don't see her losing this championship before Mania. I don't. I mean, long-term thinking, and I know a lot of people probably wish this would happen, is they need to get Shayna Baszler to that, point she was at when she faced Becky back at 36. That badass, like, we expected her to win, but she didn't win. They need to get Shayna back there. John, who is one of our old co-hosts here on the Table Spot, he threw out this idea about 2 weeks ago to me. We were having this personal conversation about this. And he said that if they don't do that with Shayna, by the time at least the Elimination Chamber comes around, then they need to either put her in a tag team with somebody that would make them a dominant force like she was with Ronda Rousey, or get her back down to NXT and have her become the rebirth of the dominant force she was down there. I don't see that as a bad idea. But at the same time, I think they still have the time to get Shayna Baszler to that point. They do. Even if we don't get it till after WrestleMania, I think they can get her to that point to lead up to a SummerSlam. Shayna Baszler does not need to go back down to NXT. She doesn't. And yes, she may have not accomplished a lot up on the main roster, but going back down to NXT, I think is a bad move. Bad move. It is. And that's my opinion. But we are going to move forward to our next match. Our next match is for the Intercontinental Championship. Gunther is going to be defending the championship against The Miz. Now, we all know about Gunther's huge run that he's had with the Intercontinental title. I have some stuff to say about this match, but first, your thoughts and who you got in this match. Gunther, Miz. Does The Miz end Gunther's run, or does Gunther continue his reign as Intercontinental Champion?
I think The Miz ends the reign of Gunther. So I'm going with The Miz in this match to end the reign of Gunther and become the new Intercontinental Champion. His babyface run right now for The Miz, I think it's going to be short lived. They literally only turned him face because Gunther has pretty much ran through the top baby faces as it is. So there's really nobody left for him to face at this point who's a face. Mm-hmm. So they had to turn a longtime heel in The Miz face just for this match. I think it's going to set up for The Miz versus Chad Gable at one point, and then Chad Gable obviously is going to be the guy to become the new Intercontinental Champion. So I think we're in for a short Miz reign as Intercontinental Champion. But yeah, I'm going with The Miz in this match.
See, now I got a whole different, totally different opinion on this. Now, earlier tonight on Botch and Chair Shots, they spoke about Sheamus is cleared from injury, ready to come back. And the one thing that Sheamus has not accomplished in his WWE career was the Intercontinental Championship, to become a Grand Slam champion. He's won the world title, he's won the tag team titles, he's won the United States title. He is yet to get his hands on the Intercontinental Championship. I feel like Gunther retains his championship, and ultimately, we get Gunther and Sheamus in a one-on-one match at WrestleMania this time. Because we got that great triple threat match with Drew McIntyre involved last year. I think this time we get Sheamus, we get Gunther in one-on-one action at WrestleMania, and I would not be opposed to that match opening up the whole weekend. So I am going Gunther on this match and retaining. With you picking The Miz, I am not against it. I would love to see The Miz get gold around his waist again. It has been a long, long time. I will say this. Yes, he won the WWE Championship during the pandemic. I don't consider that a run. That was upsetting. It went a whole decade of The Miz not holding the WWE Championship. And then you had him cash in the Money in the Bank to win it, only to have it for what, a week? 2 weeks? And he lost it on the Monday Night Raw. Now, mind you, I'm not upset that Bobby Lashley was the one to beat him. I was ecstatic when Bobby Lashley won the title. I wanted to see Bobby Lashley win that championship years ago at the Great American Bash when he took on John Cena. And if you remember that match, it almost happened. Almost. It was this close from happening. So I was excited about Bobby Lashley, but upset at the same time because The Miz's second reign as champion was so short and so meaningless. So I wouldn't be opposed to The Miz winning the Intercontinental title at all. But my ultimate long-term is Gunther keeping it and going against Sheamus at WrestleMania. And then we get Sheamus uncrowning him. We move on to our first War Games match. Charlotte, Bianca Belair, Shotzi, Becky Lynch is taking on the team of Damage Control, which is made up of Bayley, Asuka, Io Sky, and Kairi Sane. Now, and Cam, you know me, my brain works the way it does. So, you can go ahead, pick your winner first, because I have a huge little story that builds in this match.
I'm gonna say damage control. I think they're pretty much running it back from last year. When they needed to win last year, they didn't. But now damage control looks stronger than ever, and I think this is the time for them to win. This is the time for them to look dominant. And yeah, I think they need to win more. So I'm gonna go with damage control.
So I have another pick that's opposed. I'm going Charlotte, Bianca, Shotzi, and Becky on this. And this is my built-in storyline with this match. I think Bailey's going to get to the point where she's going to try and control her team. Asuka's not going to like it. Io's not going to like it. Kairi's not going to like it. I think we have a built-in stable built inside a stable. I think Kairi Sane, Asuka, and Io are a team, and they're going to turn on Bailey and cost damage control this match. I think they're going to walk out on Bailey once they get to the point. Because, we always get that setup where you have one team in one ring, one team in the other facing each other. It's going to come to that point, and Bailey's going to try and tell all them what to do. And when you get that bum rush of everybody going to the middle, I think Io, Asuka, and Kairi stay back. Bailey's the only one that goes to the middle, notices she's the one that ran, and Charlotte, Bianca, Shotzi, and Becky grab her, pull her into the other ring. They all do their finishers. They finish her off, beat her, and then we just see Io, Kairi, and Asuka just walk out. And there's your new stable that's inside the stable. That's why I go with Charlotte, Bianca, Shotzi, and Becky.
I could see it happening, honestly.
I've had that feeling since Crown Jewel. That look on Bailey's face at Crown Jewel just told me that story. Just gave me that thought. Like, man, I don't feel like this damage control. Like, yeah, the addition of Asuka coming in, a week later, was huge. Made damage control a lot stronger. But I think Bailey's going to get a big head in this match. Like, she knew, she knows that damage control took the L last year. And she's going to want that win. And I think she's going to get well over her head and try and control. And they're going to turn on her. And that's going to leave her with Dakota Kai. And then when Dakota Kai makes her return, there goes Dakota Kai turning on her as well. Bailey's going to end up on her own somehow. I told you, my brain, man. I gotta find some other things to think about besides wrestling, but for some reason I just can't. I just can't. So, our main event of the night: Cody, Seth, Jay, and Sammy taking on the Judgment Day, made of Finn Balor, Damian Priest, Dominic Mysterio, and JD McDonough. So, Cody and Seth had some choice words with each other not too long ago, but they are mending their fences for the time being, and they're going to team up. They're going to help each other out. So, your thoughts? Who do you think's walking out of this match as the winner? Again, my brain worked on this, and I have another thought in this match. So, just going to throw this out there. My extra point is for Charlotte, Bianca, and Shotzi and Bailey to win. And my extra point is Io, Asuka, and Kairi turning on Bailey. That's my extra point. I have another extra point for this main event. But before we get to that, who's your thought on this main event? Who's your winner on this one?
So I feel like it's going to be Cody and Jay's team. Now, I have a thought. Not saying this is going to happen, but this would be insane to see. Based off of the history between Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins, what if we get an unexpected Seth Rollins heel turn and he turns on Cody Rhodes, leaves them high and dry, hits the curb stomp and everything, leaves them high and dry. and then Judgment Day. I almost said Damage Control, and then Judgment Day wins this match. That would be the wildest, most unexpected thing I think to happen in this match. But I'm gonna go with Cody and Jay's team to win this match. But yeah, I'm not saying that's gonna happen. That's just my thought process, especially after what you said about Cody and Seth. So, but yeah.
So I'm actually going Judgment Day on this match. And I'm going to add into what you just said. So we got a comment here. Then Drew versus Seth 2, Electric Boogaloo would be heel versus heel. At this point, so Seth versus Drew 2, if what I think might happen at War Games, if it doesn't happen, then I could see Seth and Drew 2 at Royal Rumble. Okay? So, it's all good. No worries. No need to apologize. It's all good to put some jokes out there. The reason why I did not laugh at the joke is because I'm like in the middle of a thought. So just to put this out there for everybody, I'm looking straight in the camera. If you say a joke and I don't laugh at it, it's funny to me. But at the same time, I'm in the middle of a thought to where I'll get there. So, yeah. So I'm going Judgment Day on this. Okay? And here's the reason why I'm going Judgment Day. And I'm going to add on to what you said. Okay? I think we get an inner thing between Cody and Seth. Okay? But I think Cody hits Seth with a crossroads. Seth ends up getting, or Cody gets ended up taken out by somebody in the Judgment Day. Jay and Sammy end up being out of the picture. Cody can end up getting pinned and beaten. But then my extra point is Damian Priest cashing in Money in the Bank. And Damian Priest walking out as world champion. Here's the thing. Is Damian Priest claimed to be the leader of the Judgment Day. Has tried multiple times to cash in that briefcase. Unsuccessfully. Whether it was Rhea stopping him. Sammy stopping him. He's been stopped a couple times. Huge opportunity here for him to cash in that briefcase. And by all means, Damian Priest does not have to have a long run. Does not have to have a long run at all with this championship. He can hold that championship through the holidays. And we could see him and Seth at house shows working. And then ultimately at the Royal Rumble, we see Seth Rollins, Damian Priest, and you can add in Drew McIntyre as a triple threat. That can bring some tension between Drew and Damian during that match. Especially after the little handshake between Rhea and Drew. Seth wins his championship, ends up going to WrestleMania as a 2-time world champion. And then we ultimately get Seth taking on whoever's set up for Seth Rollins to face at WrestleMania. So I got Damian Priest cashing in his Money in the Bank and winning it after the little Cody and Seth thing. But that is our predictions for Survivor Series. We got some comments in the chat. So, yes. Shrek, thank you for coming in tonight. We appreciate it. We also got, I thought Rhea was champion. Rhea is a champion.
He meant leader, not champ.
Oh, okay. I apologize. I did not get to that comment yet. So that was the thing is Rhea was pretty much put out there as the leader. But we also had Damian Priest who stood there on the apron not too long ago and said that he was the leader when he was having that little banter with Cody Rhodes. So realistically, we don't know who the leader is. I mean, it's an obvious that Rhea is. She's been, pushing all the buttons and leading the way. So it's an obvious that Rhea is. But Damian kind of brought that little bit in of that he was the leader. So it is a 4-on-4 match for both War Games matches this year. It's not 5-on-5. And we thought for a while that we were going to get 5-on-5s. We thought that there would have been an addition to both, to all four teams, basically, the women's and the men's. But they're sticking with the 4-on-4. Which honestly, Cam, your thoughts? Would you prefer a 5-on-5 or do you like the 4-on-4 concept?
I mean, like they can. I mean, either way. I mean, I would prefer. I wanted 5-on-5, but I think they can still produce good matches with either way.
I mean, here's a great comment that they were hoping that would be 5-on-5, so we get Punk or Orton. Do you think we see Punk or Orton?